like southern Ontario.
Yeah.
And so if I'm going to go traveling to the east, it's probably going to go be to see family that I never get a chance to see. More than likely than going out to the far east coast.
What I found really interesting when I was talking to some folks from Edmonton, like Toronto, or sorry, from Ontario, there we are.
Yeah.
They were saying they almost took issue with me referring to Ontario as the east.
I would call it the coast, but it is east.
They were saying that they were central, and everything from Manitoba over is like west. They're the center, and then the east is Maritimes.
No.
So I said, oh, I did not know that.
We call it the east because they are far east.
Yeah.
I'd say Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Northern Ontario would be central.
That's what I was thinking too.
Quebec, Ontario are east, and then you have your east coast, which is the Maritimes.
Yeah.
The west coast is BC.
Additionally, I would also say the Central Standard Time is in Saskatchewan, Manitoba.
Mm-hmm. That's where Central Standard Time is.
Right,
yeah,
right.
So.
Yeah. Although that might not make a difference anymore with them. Did you hear about this thing where they're considering shifting the hours? Like not having the farmers, 1 hour.
Daylight savings time?
Yeah, daylight savings.
Well, we've been pushing for that for years.
Okay.
It's completely pointless nowadays. It was originally brought in when, before we had artificial lighting so that the farmers would have more time to shop after they've been on the crops all day. So now that that doesn't matter because we have all the artificial lighting, it just screws up our sleep cycle every year for like months.
Yeah.
You get a couple months a year where your sleep cycle switches. So, and the only reason Alberta hasn't been able to do it, even though they, like 80% of people say they want, is because it would make it a 2-hour difference between Saskatchewan's time and ours, or BC's time and ours, whereas Saskatchewan doesn't have it.
Huh. Yeah, currently I think BC is an hour behind ours. So.
Yeah, they're an hour behind. So if we got rid of that and they kept it, we would be 2 hours off.
Locked in.
Yeah. So that would make trade in our, we do a lot of trade in BC, and that would make a very tough trade schedule. Yeah. So it's new and exciting.
I've got quite a bit of chatter on my social profile.
Oh, okay.
The one question I was being asked by my followers was, what's your favorite vehicle?
What's your favorite vehicle?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a Tesla Model X. So that's yeah. They're pretty well put together. So ever since then, they've just been chiming in like every 5 minutes. Someone's like, put together a GoFundMe page. We want to like get you this.
Really?
Tesla.
Just to get you a Tesla.
Model X. I'm like, listen, you guys, this is like $100,000 vehicle here, over $100,000 here.
So expensive.
Super expensive. There's no way I could put together a page that says.
Help me get a Tesla. That's funny.
I mean, I would not be opposed, but
if you guys want to give me one, I would love it. However, I can't expect that.
Yeah, totally. It's interesting because I do have a few followers, but it's nothing comparable to like what I could ever say. Okay, I have got some influence this way, right? But they think it has a huge deal, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, I'm being realistic here.
Yeah, well, that's really nice of them, though.
It is. It's really gracious of them. Absolutely.
It's awesome.
So whenever I check in and just catch up with a comment, I'm just chuckling away.
Yeah, I get a little bit of a hoot out of it.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah. Because in no way was I having that in mind, because they're just asking me various questions like, hey, what do you think of this and how about this, and so I'm just answering away, and all of a sudden and then there's this guy called David, I forget his name now. He gives away Teslas apparently, so they start putting a whole bunch of ads to him to try and get his attention.
Kind of like, we'll get you a Tesla. How does someone have money to give away Teslas?
There are people who have like sponsorship deals.
Well, also, yeah, it would also be considered a charitable donation, so you can write that all off.
I suppose so, eh? Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, like the kind of, ways that they're able to pull things together like that. Yeah, for sure.
That'd be freaking awesome, though.
That would be.
I wish all the luck in the world get there.
Thank you, man. That would be unexpected. No doubt. Especially just because I'm I'm very new on all this social media stuff. It's just, I've been off of it for such a long time. I'll tell you. Oh yeah, like Slade, I was thinking that I was coming to terms that I may have been a bit of a snob. So back in the day, like a decade and a half, when I said I'm done with social media, it was just based on the way communication was going on social media. And I was like, that's not how I like to do it, you know, like face to face. I like this kind of engagement. I like something that's substantial, and follows and likes and that kind of thing just doesn't do it for me. It's just really meaningless, right? Until recently I got challenged by the idea of, could I stop being prudish about this and think about how I would actually translate what I do with people face to face here like this on social media. I'm like, well, that's a worthwhile challenge there.
Yeah, there you go.
So I kind of re-engaged at that point, but I had no idea what those things. I checked on, you know, because I mean, there's so many more things now than Facebook back in the day, right?
There's so much more.
There's Instagram,
there's Snapchat, you have WhatsApp, you have
TikTok.
There's so much stuff that you can potentially, you know, get into.
I had no idea which way am I supposed to go. What am I supposed to base it off? What do I post here versus there, you know? And Twitter's another one too that I haven't.
I don't
LinkedIn.
use Twitter at all.
No,
I don't know too many people that do. Not too many of my friends anyway, but again, I'm a small town and I'm sure it's bigger, more prevalent in the cities.
I think the only thing about Twitter, and I don't use Twitter, but the only thing I know about Twitter is that that's the one that Donald Trump has his personal and still going as the president, and he still puts out his ideas on there.
And some of them are very open. Some of them are pretty crazy.
Oh man, that is quite the season coming up there. What do you think is going to happen there?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
To be honest, it's not my problem because it's the States and I can't vote.
Yeah.
I can't vote in your election.
For sure.
I got to keep my own problems small because if I can fix my world and make my world better, that's all right. But I'm not looking at the grand scheme. I can only do so much.
And that's how you keep it manageable.
Yeah, because otherwise, if I worried about everything, I'd be worried all the time.
See, I can understand how many people get worried about this stuff because they actually focus on it and then they sort of go downward spiral. I don't get so worked up about it.
I just have a big policy where most of the time I just don't talk politics.
Okay.
I know people don't always agree with what I say.
Sure.
And like even if I'm willing to listen to what you have to say, a lot of people might not be willing to understand what I'm saying.
Sure enough.
Whether I don't mean it with any malicious intent.
No, not at all.
My opinion of my stance. But I mean, I'd rather just keep it away from the relationship because if you're my good friend, you're gonna like me regardless of what I think that way.
Yeah.
And so I like to keep it very modicum.
Sure.
You can do a little bit of politics, but try not to get over involved in it.
Sure.
Not if you want to retain relationships. I'd much rather
maintain.
Yeah.
That's a really smart way of thinking. Here's what I've seen from my observation of what may be at play, whether it's politics or religion especially too. My goodness, that's a huge one. I think it's just from what I've observed, people usually feel they have strong feelings. So like, I hold on to this is like my non-negotiable, and if anyone says anything against my non-negotiable, this very sacred part about what I hold to be me, then it's almost like a disqualification of that person, right?
It's like you're attacking them, even though it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with them. It's just a disagreement.
Yeah, it's like I've got a different non-negotiable, but I'm happy to let you have your non-negotiable over here while I keep mine, kind of thing.
We can agree to disagree.
Absolutely, and along those lines, it's also the acknowledgement of there's something else that's even more non-negotiable, and that's the person who's standing in front of you.
Yeah.
Is your perspective way more important? Would you kill this person to keep your perspective, or would you rather say, I want to value you as you are, you know? And that's where they usually miss that bearing, I think, right?
How far do you justify your opinion?
Yeah.
What are you willing to do for it? If you're not strong about it, then maybe there is no reason.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you there. So I find that really intriguing to watch and follow along the way. And I guess that's why I wade into those waters, but I do it with it's almost like there's a necessary intuition that one needs to be able to say, can you watch that line that can be fudged over really easy? Because for some it's a really hairpin of a trigger, right?
I honestly, I've got tons of friends that disagree, and I used to be really avid with how I felt about my opinions.
Sure.
Really avid.
Sure.
And then I just realized it just didn't make me as fun to be around. And because it always comes up.
Yeah.
And I try and be a little educated in it.
Sure.
Or at least have justification for my opinion.
Right.
And some people just want to blab about what they feel without any kind of justification, no backup to it. And so when I pull out my opinions with stated facts and whatever else that I thought would reinforce my opinion,
sure,
it wouldn't help that they, that they feel like you're talking down to them. No, I'm just saying what I know.
Yeah.
I believe I know anyway, because obviously nothing is concrete.
Yeah.
I try my best to know, or at least understand.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. I hear you, man. I like these are the complexities I like to think about socially, and then sort of walk into that arena. As foolish as it sounds, just be able to test and say, okay, so how would I actually? Because I mean, I am very sensitive to those dynamics. I really appreciate good conversations that don't demoralize into like a shouting match. They kind of say, oh, I'm going to say this with full respect to you.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm convinced of your perspective. That's okay. Exactly. I might be missing something. Yeah.
I like to believe.
Yeah.
With full honesty, that if you can provide a fact that might be contrary to what I believe, that I'm willing to accept a change in my belief, and I know I can.
Right. Yeah.
Provided you provide the right evidence and the right argument, because I don't want to feel. I try not to feel 100% strongly. I do have obvious biases.
Sure.
Obviously, everyone does.
Sure.
But if you can, change your opinion, or at least consider another perspective, I think you go a lot farther along the way than being so adamantly right about whatever you think you're right about.
I agree.
Because you're not always right. You can be wrong.